Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And you guys actually picked this what if. I did not come up, well technically I came up with the idea and I gave you two choices and you chose this one. I let that poll run for a while and Jesus, most everyone wanted this one other than the other one. So this is what if Deku had a chemical quirk. And before we start, I'm going to add a couple things. Why? Why, you ask? To add flavor to the story so it's not so boring. God, I feel like... God. That's what I need right now. Because I feel like shit. But I'll be fine. Okay, back to the point at hand. I'm adding some things to the story to spice it up, add a little flavor to it. Okay, 1, All Might's Deku's dad. 2, Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki are gonna have twin sisters. Why? Why not? Exactly. And with the appearance in the picture, I'll get to that. But let's start the story. Oh, God. What time is it again? Jesus. Recording a video at 7:20 in the morning. Jesus. What am I doing with my life? A lot. Okay, to get to the actual story. Where do I want to start the story off? I could start it at birth. There you go. There's the idea. Picture this. Oh, my lads. A young 4-year-old Izuku runs into his parents' room, saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, wake up, wake up." And yes, All Might is Deku's dad in this one. Well, by marriage, not biological. You'll get it later on in the story. Yes, their names is Izuku Yaki instead of Midoriya. So yeah, basically, Ingo takes Deku and Izumi to the quirk doctor. And who Izumi is? Izumi is Deku's twin sister. But Deku's older by like a minute. And if you have any better names for the sisters in this story, put them in the comments. If you know what I mean. Make it somewhat, like, don't give me like a bland name. Give me something that actually legitimate makes sense for the character. But back to the story. They take the test and the doctor comes back with the results. And he says to Inko, oh, I forgot to mention, Inko's also a pro hero. Let's say she's the number 5 pro hero. I don't have a name for what? I don't have a script for this one. I didn't find time to, and I didn't want to. What can I say? I need to lay off. What can I say? I'm lazy. But, again, back to the story. I keep getting off track. Man, this reminds me of some of my old what-ifs. Only OGs will remember. Back with some of my first videos. I would always keep sidetracking. God. Where was I? Right. Results for the test. at the doctor. Quirk test. And the doctor comes back into the room, and he asks Inko, does she want the good news or the bad news? She says good news first, which I think is dumb. Always go for the bad news first. But in this case, she goes for the good news. Izumi has a very strong strength enhancement quirk. Kind of like All Might's. Kind of. It's like a strength multiplier, more likely. Basically, what it can do, it can multiply. She can multiply her strength throughout her entire body, or just single appendages. By the max is times 10. Yeah, it should. Well, the strain of the quirk starts at times 5, but its max is times 10. And trained well, she could probably carry it up to times 100. If you get what I'm saying, you'll get it. For the bad news, Izuku does have a quirk, but he doesn't have it now. And Inko's like, wait, what? The doctor says, what I'm saying is that Izuku does have a quirk. He just doesn't have it now. He's a late bloomer. He will get it around the ages of probably 13, 14, somewhere around that age. I can't be quite precise, the doctor says to Inko. And then she turns to Izumi, and she's basically, they just, like, the dead planet that Izuku is a quirkless nobody. Like, legitimate, mate. Because, he's a late bloomer. But yeah, mate. He's a 4-year-old. And he's gotta wait 10 years till his quirk awakens. That's pretty shit. Being quirkless for 10 years till your quirk finally awakens. But before I go any further, I do want to explain Deku's quirk before I go any further, so people won't get confused. Basically, what Deku's quirk is, I don't really have a name for it. If you have a name for Deku's quirk, put it in the comments. But basically, what he can do, he can release different chemicals out of his body as like gas. Duh. Sorry about that. But the thing is, like, it won't, like, automatically the default one is like a poisonous, like, chemical. Like, but Izuku Deku can change what kind of chemical it is and what the effects are. But he has to learn different chemicals and different, like, byproducts of chemicals and all that. Basically, he's got to learn about, like, he's going to go through the whole chemistry degree. Basically. So basically, his quirk is very versatile, but, it's very versatile. But the thing is, it's kind of like Momo's quirk, where she has to learn like what the item she wants to make is made out of, like the biochemical structure, something like that. Basically the same thing for Izuku, but chemical based. If you get what I mean. So that's Izuku's quirk. But back to the story at hand. Basically, for the next, let's say, up till, for the next, let's say 10 years. Next 10 years, Izuku is neglected by his parents. Wow, some symbol of peace, am I right? So, number one hero neglecting his child. Bullied for being, quirkless. I put that in quotes. And he's bullied by his sister, his friend Bakugo's sister Katsumi, I think that's the name I want to do. And then Shoto, and he isn't really bullied by Shoto's twin sister. I don't really have a name for her yet. She kind of just like sits back and doesn't want to do it, and like she always helped Zuko afterwards once the rest of them leave. But time skip 10 years later, Deku's in a middle school. Um, hmm. At least Quirk has not awakened yet. That will happen later. But you know, same old last day of middle school in MHA. Teacher comes in, throws the paper. He's like, "What do you kids want to be when you do as careers?" Throws the papers out. We all know you want to be heroes. Everyone starts showing out their quirk, except Bakugo and obviously Deku. No, everyone starts showing out their quirk, other than Bakugo's Katsumi, Shoto's sister. I don't know, not Fuyumi, Shoto's twin sister, and Izumi. And then Bakugo gives his ranting speech. The only thing changed about it is that he says, "Don't group me and the other, whatever, 6, 5, I don't know. I'm not counting." Then he goes down the list and he reads off the main members, Izumi, Katsumi, Katsuki, Shoto, and Shotaka. Is that the name only use? Sure, why not Shotaka? Or something like that. Something in the lines of that. Give me a name for Todoroki's twin sister. Not Fuyumi, like the one I came up with. Then he gets to Izuku Midoriya. Everyone turns around, laughing at him. Bakugo explodes his disc. It gets punched in the face by his sister, and blah 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 blah. They get yelled at by the teacher. After class, everyone leaves except for Bakugo and his little gang. And basically Shoto froze his feet so he can't move. And basically Izumi starts beating the shit out of him with her quirk. Bakugo and Katsumi starts exploding, like throwing explosions at him. Katsumi grabs Deku's notebook, hands it to Katsuki, and Katsuki blows it up and throws it out the window. Oh, blows it up, burns it, if you know what I mean, and throws it out the window. And instead of Bakugo saying Deku should take a swan dive off a roof, it's actually his own bloody system. Like, that's kills. I know, right, man? She's like, why don't you take a swan dive off a roof and pray for a quirk in your next life. And like once they leave, Katsumi and Bakugo, like even Bakugo is like, isn't that a little far? Like even Bakugo is like, isn't that a little far? Like you can get arrested for telling someone to kill themselves. And if you get arrested, bye-bye hero career. And then it cuts back to before Izumi and her little friend group before they started bullying Deku. And this is the dumbest way I've ever heard to deal with this problem. Basically, Izumi's bullying Deku to try for him to give up on his dream, so he wouldn't die in hero work, which I think is the stupidest way to go throughout the problem. Like, seriously, mate. So they decide to bully him and use his quirks to try to scare him, which doesn't work. Cut back to Deku. Deku gets all of his stuff together and walks out the classroom. As he's walking down the road, before he gets to the tunnel, before he goes under the bridge, he gets stopped by Shotaka. I think that's the name. Shotoka. That's not gonna say it right. Again, if you have a name for Todoroki's twin sister, put it in the comments. Let it make sense. Jesus, I don't want her name to be Icy Hot Princess. I don't know. But back to the story. Where do I want to go with this? Basically, Shotaka patches Deku's up and sends him on his way, chatting a little bit here and there. He crosses under a bridge and then gets swiped off his feet, getting pulled into a sludge. And he starts to get suffocated until he hears, "I am here." In All Might's thoughts, he's like, "Oh shit, that's Izuku." He smashes. He's a little more careful. He smashes the villain, the sludge villain. Deku passes out from lack of oxygen. He wakes up to All Might, who he doesn't know is his father. He doesn't know that yet. Basically, everything goes to canon. He's on top. Deku asks him the question if a quirkless person can be a hero. All Might says no. And this basically just crushed Izuku's dream. That his idol just said he can't be a hero. That's better. Where do I want to go with this? Right. All Might left. Deku standing there in complete fear and shock. He started walking down the building. As he was walking home, he heard an explosion and obviously went towards it. What he saw was the sludge villain with Bakugo in hold, and the hero's not doing anything, basically talking about how their quirks doesn't fit the situation. Deku then jumps the barricade, tries to save Bakugo, but All Might comes in and saves both of them. Oh, God. Bakugo gets praises, Deku gets scolded. And on his way home from the crime scene, he hears Izumi talking, and he turns the corner, he looks around the corner, and sees Izumi talking to All Might, who deflates into their father. And Izumi's like, "Dad?" And he's like, "Yes, Izumi." He's like, I want you to have my quirk. And then Izumi's like, what about Izuku? And he's like, he does not show the attributes of a true hero. I know. You're not acting like a true hero right now. All Might. At this point, Izuku broke. He ran home, tore down all the All Might and All Might, merch in his room, tearing out the posters, smashing the action figures, basically destroying everything in his room. He packed his clothes into a duffel bag, took a piece of paper and wrote a letter. He grabbed his duffel bag, put on his hoodie, grabbed his duffel bag, and jumped out his window. When Izumi and Toshinori finally got home, Inko was like, "Do you know where Izuku is? He hasn't come home yet." And they just shrug their shoulders. They're like, no. They quickly searched the house and I want to do Zuku's room. Seeing that it was all torn down and messed up. And then they saw the letter. And I'm coming off of this off the top of my head. It says, "Dear my supposed family. If you're reading this, well then I'm gone. I booked it. Either I'm gonna end up on the news being dead or I'm gone. To my parents is in quotes on the paper. Or should I say All Might and... What's a good name? For Inko's hero name. Teleka, there you go. Well, I'm finally gone. Well, it's not like you would notice anyway if you're actually reading this. Well, I'm actually delighted that you're actually concerned about me. To Izumi, screw you. I hope... Screw you. I see you in hell, you bullying prick. Son of a bitch. And then it reads, I hope you all burn in hell. Not yours, Zuku Midoriya. Because his biological name was Zuku Midoriya. Because his legitimate father is Hisashi Midoriya. But when Hisashi and Inko divorced, she married Toshinori. And with that, they had Izumi. So technically they're half siblings or step siblings, something like that. Well, the whole Yagi family drops to their knees crying. I have no idea what that was. Let's cut to Izuku. Deku was walking out through the park, and he sits down on a bench and throws a duffel bag beside him. Well, he gets approached by a hooded man with a mask, and he asks him, "What's a kid like you doing here alone?" Izuku answers the man, "Nothing. Trying to get away from a cruel world." The man replies, "Aren't we all? Look, kid, I've been observing you. And I have to say, you have a shit past. But would you like to join me? As a soldier, but not as a weapon, as a soldier, as a brother in arms. Will you join?" I'm trying to think of an organization name. Ghost. And that's where I'm going to leave this part off, guys. Yes, I'm leaving you off with a cliffhanger. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next part. Peace.